Spotlight on Frazee is sponsored by these community-minded businesses and organizations. United Community Bank, an independent, family-owned and operated bank committed to empowering customers to achieve their financial goals. Member FDIC. Frazee Family Foods, what a hometown grocery store should be. Friendly staff, family-owned, and a wide variety of groceries to fulfill your needs.
Welcome to Spotlight on Frazee. I'm your host, Hank Ludke, and I'm here today with Bricker Ware of the Frazee Fire Department. Hi, Bricker.
Hello, Hank.
So I know we've got a couple events coming up, and one of them's right this week on Wednesday night. And it's a quite an interesting thing that you're doing in conjunction with the rest of the county.
Yes, it is the annual Becker County Disaster Drill, county-wide. So it will, Wednesday night, if you're seeing a lot of fire trucks and emergency vehicles moving around, don't worry, it's all training, and we're really testing the accountability board with the whole county. We've done disaster drills in the past, but usually it's just in one town, and every fire department comes to that town, and we do a bunch of different drills on either lost firefighters or lost people, confined space, propane leaks. There's
rail disaster.
Yes, rail disaster. There's a lot of things that we train on. This year they decided to work on the accountability system, which is something different. So every town in the county is going to be having something going on, and so it's going to be working if we had a natural disaster, some kind of countywide disaster, the communication, how that would work for everybody.
Well, and for years we were dealing with communication issues. After 9/11, they decided that we should all have one system. And so we got grants, we got radios, we got everything. And then they decided we would have two systems.
Well, that is true. Luckily, all I do is talk on them and not very much. And whatever the people above me decide we need to have, that's what we'll use. The radios are great, but again, whenever we have an incident, I'd say communication between different entities, because we use different words, always is our biggest struggle. Like for the fire department, when I think of hauling water, I think of using a tanker. If you talk with the DNR, they think a tanker is an airplane full of water. So if you call for a tanker from the DNR and you get an airplane coming in, that's a different ball game versus so they use tender, the DNR, for hauling water in trucks. So it's a communication thing. So this is definitely going to test us. I don't know what exactly is going to be going on because I'm just one of the participants, but I know they've been meeting probably for 6 months, the committee, on different things so we can train on, well, whatever it's going to be. I know it's going to be fun and a great learning experience for the whole county.
Well, yeah, and now we have a county-wide communication system, which we did not have before.
Yes. Again, I'd like to say I'm just a firefighter, so the chief tells me to do this, and I do this, or do that, and I do that. So it's kind of above my pay grade. You'd have to talk to our fine chief, Albert Dahl. He would know more of the details on those things with that.
Yeah, these disaster drills and all the training, thousands of hours go in every year at this fire department on training alone, just so that we can know the equipment's ready, our first responders are ready to help you in case you have a disaster or a fire or something happening. These guys are ready to go, and they are constantly working on bettering their equipment, getting newer equipment that is needed, and making sure, just like Bricker says, that now it's language issues, making sure that even though we all speak English here, that we understand what the terms are through the different types of departments that are going to be responding to if we ever do have a major disaster and they're needed to come in.
And again, it's not only fire department. We have Frazee Rescue, which is the medical, and we also have the police department. And all three of us have special things that we bring to the mix to be able to help out. And so it's everyone together is how we are able to help save lives and make our community safe. So if you see a Frazee Rescue member, thank them. If you see one of our police officers in town, thank them. And I suppose if you see one of the firefighters, say, hey, thanks for doing what you do, because we don't do it for the pay. We do it because we love it. And we also, as a community, we need it. It's peace of mind to me to know that if something happens in my house, that I've got Frazee Rescue to be able to come do that first responder to keep my family safe.
I agree with you 100%, Bricker, and it does not pay. It pays very little, nothing compared to the amount of time you guys put in. So with that, we'll be right back to talk with Bricker about another major thing coming up here in October.
Spotlight on Frazee is sponsored by these community-minded businesses and organizations. The City of Frazee and Frazee Event Center, featuring a 5,000 square foot room, a built-in stage, and a full-service bar, perfect for a multitude of events. Call or click to book your event. Frazee Community Club, people and business coming together to make the community fun, friendly, and thriving. Become a member and help support your community.
Welcome back to Spotlight on Frazee. I'm your host, Hank Ludke, and I'm still here with Bricker Ware of the Frazee Fire Department, and we've got a great thing coming up in October.
Yes, on Tuesday, October 9th, we have fire prevention down at the fire hall. And it's, to me, the best time to be a firefighter is when you get to work with these kids and see all the excitement, having them come down here and do some training on exactly what firefighters do and what they can do to keep them and their family safe.
Yeah, tuck and roll.
Yeah, stop, drop, and roll. Yes, we have a smoke tunnel we will set up so they can practice crawling, staying low, going through, if there's smoke in your room, we'll talk about dialing 911 in emergency. We'll let them squirt some water through our fire hose. We also will we'll talk about smoke detectors. Also, not just kind of fire safety, but also always wearing your seatbelt. So we kind of a broad range of safety things that we'll talk about Tuesday, October 9th for fire prevention.
Well, and this is the only place that these children learn about this is during Fire Prevention Week. And at the age that they are at, this makes a major impression on them. I've ran into kids that are now in their 20s when they see these programs who have taken these things here and still remember what they learned when they were like in first grade or second grade down here at Fire Prevention Week.
Yes, it's lifelong memories. I remember when I was down at the old fire hall with Keith Myrie and probably Rick Billett when they were doing fire prevention back in the good old 80s. You remember that, right, Hank?
Yes, I do.
So yes, it does stick with you forever. It's, to me, being down here teaching them all the information, but then the next couple weeks you're going to be at the grocery store or somewhere, and all of a sudden you're going to see a little kid, and they'll be saying, "Hey, Mom, there's that firefighter," and when they remember that, and that made an impression on the kid, that's what it's all about.
And it's always a good program. It's so interesting to see all the little kids coming down the street past the office and then going over here and listening, and you can hear them, even though we have pretty thick walls and windows, you can hear them laughing and giggling and having a great time, and actually being very receptive and very excited about learning this stuff.
Yes, and we have the Frazee Fire Department, Wolf Lake, and also the Vergas Fire Department all help with putting this on. So I want to give a shout out to make sure if you're in those other towns that you thank those firefighters for helping with fire prevention, because it takes a village to raise a child. Isn't that what they say, Chief?
Yes, it is.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Just for a little while longer.
Yes, a little bit longer.
And I'll be Citizen.
Yes. Citizen Hank.
Citizen Hank. So if you see these kids walking around on Tuesday of Fire Prevention Week, be careful. There's going to be a lot of kids on the street. And then also remember the disaster drill on the 26th of September. On that Wednesday, if you see the emergency vehicles going around, don't get all excited. It's a county-wide disaster training drill.
Yes, again, I don't know exactly what they have in store for us, but it's always a great learning experience. We have a couple new firefighters on the department we just took on, so it's going to be some wide-eyed firefighters for them for their kind of first experience for training.
Yeah, but it's all good, people. Remember, support your fire department, support your rescue squad, and your police department. And I really appreciate you once again being on the program, Bricker.
Always a pleasure to be here, Hank.
You do a great job for representing the community and the fire department and the city of Frazee to the rest of the world.
Thank you.
And with that, We'll catch you next week on Spotlighton Frazee. Remember, pet the dog, hug the kids, kiss the wife, wave at the neighbor. Next person you wave at could be your next best friend.